Hi friends, Goddess of Awesome here, and today is day 4 of my final Central Massage tour, and today I'm in the high north. I drove for 5 hours last night. I had an 8:30 appointment booked last night, someone I knew, a regular, so I booked with him and wrapped up at 9:30, was in the car at 10, drove 5 hours, like 5 hours and 15 minutes probably, to the next town. And thank God there's some 24-hour stores open in this little big town. So I was able to hit a market, get some food for today, so I didn't have to worry about that. So today, I went to bed. I rolled in. By the time I got here and checked in, but it was 3:45 in the morning. And by the time I had gotten checked in and settled and ready to lay down, it was 4:20. Imagine that. So I had problems falling asleep a little bit because I took a small bit of caffeine midway in the drive. I took some in the beginning of the drive, but I also took some midway because I was starting to shake my head. Like, if I shake my head, I know I'm falling asleep, I'm fighting it. So took some caffeine and it did help. But I don't think I probably really dozed off till maybe 5 in the morning, and my alarm went off at 8. So that was a 3-hour nap or rest, and I laid in bed for about 15 minutes before I had to mush myself out, out of bed, bribe myself with a hot bath, and then I knew I'd feel better. I'd start waking up. I haven't taken any caffeine today. I would have probably got sick if I would have woke up and try to have caffeine. I can't have too much of that kind of stuff, so I save it for when I really need it. Like tonight, I'm gonna need it when I drive to the next town, because today was just one day here. I'm gonna do one day tomorrow in the next town, and then I'll come back to this town for a couple days over the weekend. It's not the best weekend town here, but it is the biggest town in this area, so probably better be here for a weekend than not. But so I just wanted to talk a little bit about my day so far. I don't know if I'll be able to make you another video today because my evening's starting here, and I am booked, and I'm gonna have to get myself in the car. And my objective is to get sleep tonight. Like, if I can get 7 hours of sleep, or 8, I don't know if I'll get 8, but 6 or 7 would be fantastic. Usually when I'm at home, I sleep for like 8 hours, 10 hours. That's a normal sleep night for me. So I definitely cheat myself in the sleep department when I work, and I do that because of time efficiency. And, So my first client this morning was a regular, and great guy. And he booked and asked for 2 hours. Well, there's no discount for 2 hours. It is, 1 hour times 2. And that's what he did. And he came in, and we had a fabulous time conversing. He drives, up this way they call him a tractor trailer. Down in LA we call him a diesel or a semi. And he shared some stories with me of the road and whatnot. I always like listening to people's adventures. So that the time actually flew by, just flew. And just a charming gentleman. So when it was done, he was here from 9:30 to 11:30 on the dot, like 9:35 to 11:35, like perfect 2-hour session. And he tipped me $100. So that was nice. That was really nice. I'm trying to keep my voice down a little because I don't know how thick these walls are, and I'm not trying to let anybody hear what I have to say to you. I'm not trying to get in trouble, right? I'm trying to stay far clear from that. I just want to be real. So anyways, he tipped me $100, and that was kind of him, very unexpected. When people do that sort of thing, they don't usually tell you, and they don't make a big demonstration to lay it out, make sure you see it. A lot of the big tippers, they kind of sneak it, they're so classy. They just lay it down. They don't say anything, or if they hand you an envelope, I've never had an envelope be short, ever. People who give you an envelope, they're classy, and usually it has more in it than the agreed amount, It's very kind. So that was my morning. That was great, right? 2-hour session. I was dragging, totally tired. So it was good. I just had to focus on one person for a couple hours. Let me kind of wake up that way. And then my next person was a great person. And I want to get to something that happened, a couple things that happened interesting. I had someone for 3 who ended up being able to come in earlier, so I seen him at 1, which was perfect because that's the only time I had available. So actually the synchronicity was perfect. He came in for a 30-minute session, and we're getting in towards the end. I mean, we're like 2 minutes to the end of his session when I say my magic words, you know. We only have a couple minutes left, and he said to me that, you know, don't be surprised if it doesn't happen. He takes a long time. So that was kind of him to share that information. He didn't have to divulge that. He could have kept a tight lip and watched me work it, you know, knock myself out, suffer, I don't know. But he wasn't that kind of person. I think some guys can do that. They want to, you know, they're in it for the ride, and they don't mind working you to the point where you might be on the verge of exhaustion. But this guy was really cool. So he was, you know, originally hailed from Southern California, or no, can't say he was originally there. He had spent some time in the San Diego area, and really cool dude. So my next person is who I want to talk about. And I'm not sure if there's someone in the hall right now. I think I just heard a door close, so hopefully there's no one in the hall. So I just want to really quick say what I'm going to say, and then I have to wrap this video up because it's time. But so I had someone book for 3, and he messaged me several times. Excuse me a second. Heater. So much heat. Excuse me. When the heaters happen, it dries out my lungs and stuff. Okay, so I had this person texting me asking to come in, and he seemed very serious. Like, if he couldn't make it today, he could possibly make it Sunday morning, and that he almost went with that. And then because my 3 o'clock had changed to the 1 p.m., I had a 3 o'clock slot, which I told him, and he went for. So just a few minutes before 3, I get this text message asking, let me get there, sorry, I'm not all prepped here. So he asks, just a few minutes before he's supposed to be here, if it includes a happy ending. Okay, that's just the worst thing in the world to ask or say to a sensual massage therapist. You don't say that. I mean, I know if you're curious, you want to know, but this is kind of a realm where there's some things that aren't said, and some things can get you in trouble instantly for just the word, you know, and happy ending is definitely a phrase or word that could get you in trouble. You know, let's just say the police force was randomly trying people's phones, and if they call up and say, hey, do you offer a release, you know, I don't know if you heard that, because my dog is drinking water. Do you offer a release, or do you offer a happy ending? Those are the worst 2 questions you could ever be asked, and the worst 2 questions you could ever answer, you know? So when I seen that, okay, backing up a few more steps. So he seemed very serious, this person who was going to come in, who had committed to the newly open 3 o'clock. What he should have done in the most earlier conversation was let me know he's seen me before, because he had seen me before, but I didn't know that till he actually came in the door. So I always make everybody call me. You cannot book with a text message. I may have let 7 or 8 people slide in the last handful of months or a year or more with a text message. Those are only days I'm super booked. I don't have a chance to answer the phone, and I'm going to take a chance and book the next one with a text. And most of those guys have actually showed up. It's shocking. But I always want to hear the voice, right? I want to hear the voice first. So he calls to confirm, and I can tell he's African American, which isn't bad. I'm a humanitarian. I love all people. But in this realm, you know, there's just people just it's always good to be cautious, and for whatever reason, and he sounded young too. So, young black male, it perked my ears a little bit. Now I'm really listening close to his words, really listening close to what he has to say. And he didn't have a lot of words. He sounded like he could be serious. Maybe he wasn't somewhere he couldn't speak all the way, almost like it is right now. I don't think I can talk that loud right now. I hope you can hear me. So anyway, so when I realized he was a young black male, I considered what I should do. Like, I tried to feel it out, and it felt okay. I went with it. I booked. So when he texted me a few minutes before if there's a happy ending, that kind of just, I already had an ear perked because of, stereotypically young black male, Now he's asking for a happy ending, or does it include that? So now my other ear is really perked, and, I'm not a risky person. I could kind of tell he was a real person, but I don't need to educate him. It's not my job to educate anybody. It's not any working girl's job to educate people. We don't know who you are. I'm not going to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing. What if you're not a real person, or whatnot? It's just a waste of time. There's no need for me to educate anybody. So when he said that, I said to him, let me tell you verbatim, and I have to wrap this up in the next 4 minutes. I told him when he asked that, is there a happy ending with this massage, is what he said. And I said, it's a sensual therapeutic massage done in the nude. That's what I always tell people. But since you asked for what you asked for, let's skip it. Right? I'm not playing now. When I say let's skip it, that's my nice way of saying I'm canceling on you. Let's skip it. So he couldn't believe it. He's like, wow, are you serious? I'm here. I'm like, and I'm thinking, what an idiot, to ask that question if you're really serious. So I used the pendulum to ask if I should call this person. He did call. Other than texting that he was here, he did call. So I called him right back. I let him know I don't use that language. Those words aren't good words to use. And if someone uses those words, I immediately hang up on them, or I cancel the session, or I just, I told him I just don't do that. I don't use words like that. So he's like, well, he just wanted to make sure that it was going to be for the value of his paying. He wanted to make sure he's going to get, he wasn't going to be cheated himself. And I totally get that. So he did show up, and, a little bit reluctantly, I'm on the fence. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm hoping he's going to be respectful and kind and abide by the protocol of what, to do and lay down and be, respectful and enjoy yourself and be almost, preferably I enjoy my clients being quiet. Most of them are quiet. Few talk, but most of them are just quiet and enjoy. So he only went for the 30-minute session, which is fine, and even better for me since I had someone coming in, 45 minutes later, which is right now. And in the middle of the session, he had asked, basically, there's just a lot of attention about what's going on in between my legs is what he wants to talk about, Now, I wear fur. I know it's not the hip or trendy thing to do. I don't care. I wear fur. My fur is my fig leaf. It's my veil. It's the barrier between what's mine and what's not on the table, right? So that's my fig leaf. That's my veil. I have my fur for reasons, So he's asking about my fur. I guess it's really, people don't see it that often. And he wanted to see the fur, so I just turned my body, and he's like, why are your legs closed? My legs closed? You didn't ask if you could see my world. He asked if he could see the fur. So I just shifted my body at the smallest bit to where, when I work with the table, I'm up against the table, and the table's high. I work with the table really high. It's up above my pelvis bone. It's above my pubic hair. So nobody can touch me if I press up against the table. That's all safe, So at that moment, I was pressed up against the table when he asked to see the fur, and I just slightly turned so he could see the fur, which wasn't what he wanted to see. And I guess also that was his way of asking for full service, which is he's going about it in such a indirect way. What he should have did was dial direct and just said, hey, do you do full service? I would have instantly nipped it and said no, and he could have saved his time. But maybe he didn't want to come in, again, maybe he didn't want to see me. I saw him once before, the first trip I ever came. So it's like a year later, so maybe he only does it once a year. Maybe not. But he saw me a year ago, and maybe he thought that if he see me once, then something else might happen later, which could happen for some people. Some providers might do that, but I don't, It's always just ever going to be a massage. So, the session ended up wrapping up, and then, he left, and, all is well. But oops, my little thingy. It's interesting. It's interesting, that's all. And hopefully I do post this video. I will, I guess. One last thing, and I'm going to close this, but I know I'm not perfect. I just started, and I know I'm not editing these. I don't have time, so please bear with me. And I know my eyebrows are totally needing to be manicured. I have someone I'm waiting for her to do them. I've tried people doing my eyebrows as I've traveled, and they've butchered them, so I've been trying to grow them back. So I know there's some imperfections maybe in my videos, and I'm not a perfect person, but I definitely am striving to become a YouTuber and a mentor of sexual sacred counsel. Spirituality and sacred sexuality is what I'm all about. So that's all for today. I don't know if I'm going to have another opportunity to say hello to you today. I drive an hour tonight, so I will probably make you another video tomorrow. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you could hear me the whole video through. I'm sorry I had to speak a little bit softer tones, and I'm going to leave it there. I am the Goddess of Awesome. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And thank you so much for being here with me today. Bright blessings, and be well.